Hi there everyone, my name is Dennis and welcome to Pips Matter Market Analysis. I'm going to go over everything you need to know before you start trading today. As you see on your screen, today's possible market movers will be 1. The GDP from the UK for quarter 3, and this is the first 3 months after UK's vote to leave the European Union. Later on in the day we have from the USA the second major announcement, the core durable goods at 3:30 local Cyprus time, which is +3 GMT, and then we have pending home sales just about an hour and a half after that at 5 p.m. +3 GMT. All of this will be very important for the markets, especially the UK's GDP. It's going to be very important, and I'm going to go over a couple of very important things for you to note. 1. The UK hasn't left the European Union yet. This has not happened whatsoever. It will happen, but it hasn't happened. So based on speculations around the markets, I don't see reasons for the strong UK economy, the GDP, to be weaker. It could happen, but I have good reasons to believe that the actual GDP will come out much stronger than expected. So we're going to the next slide right now, and that will be about the UK GDP. The one and only major release that you will see today will be the first estimates of GDP growth for quarter 3 for the UK. Now, quarter 3 is the first quarter since the UK's decision to leave the Eurozone. Data in quarter 3 has been much better. That's very important to note than we feared, than the markets feared, and we see growth in the following numbers for the GDP. One is the conservative number that most market participants, experts expect, which is a rise of 0.4. This is shy from the 0.7 rise from quarter 2, and that would put overall GDP at 2.2% yearly. The medium growth that could be expected is a 0.5, which would put the yearly at 2.3, and then we go to the aggressive one, which is 0.7, maybe 0.8, which would raise it all the way to 2.6, 2.5, maybe even more year over year. So it is very important to note that there is big things happening. The GDP in the UK and tomorrow's GDP from the US will be essential to the markets, especially to these two big economies. Moving on to a few more important information about UK's GDP. First is, what is it? What is the GDP? The GDP means gross domestic product, and it is a very important measure of economic activity in a country. The markets pay very close attention to a country's GDP because it acts as the report card of an economy. It summarizes pretty much everything. Excuse me for the spelling mistake. There it is, it's fixed. So the GDP is one of the most important things in an economy, right there with retail sales, unemployment figures and things like this. What happened last time? That is a very good question. The UK economy grew by 0.7% in the 3 months from to June of 2016. This is higher than the 0.4 uptick analysts had estimated and marks the 14th consecutive month of expansion in the UK. This is a very strong figure. It will break one day, but maybe not today. What is expected today? Leading indicators from the UK's economy point to the Brexit vote not having much impact on the UK's economy. In fact, the Bank of England recently revised its quarter 3 growth forecast higher from 0.1 to 0.2 or 0.3. Even as the members warned that it will still represent a materialistic slowing in growth, we still see that UK's economy could actually expand in quarter 3 because Brexit hasn't really happened. The good weather in the UK over the summer has boosted people going out, eating out more, buying more summer clothes, and so forth. As you know, the weather in the UK is not always the best, so when they have good weather, usually activity picks up. And like I said, Brexit has not happened. Very important to note. We're moving over into brief news. Let's go over oil. The oil market started to question a forthcoming OPEC deal to cut output, which has led oil prices to drop back yesterday. A small quick report from crude oil inventories rose prices in oil before prices dropped again, and now let me just see where we are. We are right now heading back down again on crude oil and WTI. Now, the oil market will therefore monitor any comments from any OPEC members trying to revive speculation over a deal. Moving over to the Scandi markets, markets will actually focus on monetary policy meetings in Norway and Sweden. We told you this on Monday. We look for the Riksbank to announce an extension of its bond purchases program, while we do not expect any major changes from Norway. And here's what I would like to say about Norway. I believe that Euro NOK will head higher today, possibly to the 915 level, maybe even 912 level. There also could be absolutely nothing happening. Let's go over Brexit real quick. Financial markets will keep a very close eye out for news from the run-up to the expected start of negotiations next year over UK's withdrawal from the Eurozone. This is going to be very important, and right now I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to go over very important technical patterns in the market. I hope you're ready. Bring your eyes, ears, and pay your attention very closely to the following technical analysis. Okay, so let's go over some technical analysis right now. I'm going to begin with GBP pairs. We'll mainly focus on the GBP pairs before I move over to anything else. We have a very strong, and we stated this already a few times, symmetrical triangle over here, basically pure triangle formation, indicating very, very strong movement. So let me just perfect this a little bit. Here we go. Okay. If something doesn't happen today, it's gonna happen tomorrow. That's the idea we always have. And trading rule number 7, if you follow us on Facebook or Twitter, you've noticed this, is to always be ready to buy and sell. So there is never a guaranteed scenario in the market. Anything can happen. It's just higher probabilities of something else happening. So the markets do expect the GDP in the UK to be much stronger today. We also could see it based on the previous figures and retail data, like we stated, that the UK economy could have expanded for the 15th consecutive quarter. If this happens, you will see GBP USD head, and let me just go over to the daily chart real quick. You could see GBP USD head to the 24 level. Okay, prior to the announcement, price could head down or up in respect to where it could go. Obviously, due to slippage, due to high market movements, if you are trading today, you should expect some slippage. Therefore, what you should do is lower your risks. So if you are trading, let's say, normally 0.1 lots, you should lower that by 50% down to 0.5 lots. Just to protect yourself from the slippage, you can always use compounding to your advantage to secure more profits, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I can't tell you exactly what will happen. I can tell you where price could go. If the GDP in the UK is higher, price will head higher to this 124 level. Will not break it, will stay there. If the GDP comes out weaker, well, then we're going to be in real trouble, and we can see pretty strong movements down, breaking the 120 level, and possibly even staying somewhere there. It's very important to note this, that Brexit has put a lot of pressure on the GBP, and as you've seen, the flash crash, this over here, and other events have proven to support big and strong volatility in the UK and the GBP. So just watch out. Take care. I can't tell you what's happening today. Other times I will. For the NFP I will. Things like this I will. But right now I just can't. I do believe it will be stronger, but that's just pure speculation. I'm going to go over to Euro GBP. Similar scenario. We have a very strong indication here that price will continue heading higher. So technically what we're seeing is that the economy has not expanded. Technically. Technical factors are showing, so fundamental factors are showing that the UK economy has expanded, okay? And technical factors are showing it hasn't. So if you're looking at technical analysis, it's showing that the UK economy has not expanded and that it will be negative data today, and fundamentals is saying it actually has expanded. So it's a very mixed figure. Maybe it might not even prove to have any volatility. GBP CHF, very similar scenario here. Let's go over to the daily chart. Very similar scenario. As you can see, this is just a continuation, an indication of continuing drop. You see, it's a bit to the upside. When it's to the upside, it usually indicates price action heading down. So if I could put a percentage on this, I'd say 65-70% down. So negative news for the UK, and the rest of the percentages for a positive. So whatever you're doing, make sure you watch out. We've taken some good trades on indices yesterday. We made some decent profits, and like we said, we do not expect price to pass this level. This means indications show that FTSE could go up today back to this level, make a retest before heading significantly lower down to this level, and eventually even much lower. That's it for technicals. I'm not going to go into more technical analysis. Let's go over to gold and just see what we can, if there's anything we can grab out of this. There is another triangle here. It's not a full triangle, but it's a very important decision right now. There's a very important decision right now whether gold will head higher or lower. What we see happening is gold going high. We do believe that it's going to pass this level over here and head much higher to the 2000 level later on. Okay, everyone, that's pretty much it. There's not much else I can say. Stay tuned. We're going to be putting a lot of information on our forums. Lots of activities happening with Pips Matter. There are free trials. Take them, test us, and we'll see you, well, later on in the forums, or perhaps if we put another video later in the day. We have actually a session from the Nest. Something big is coming, part 2. There is a video on YouTube of part 1. Part 2 will probably not be posting a video on YouTube, and a lot of information will be coming to the people that will be attending today's session. The brochures are finished and they will be given out during the session. If you have time, head over to our website or contact us at hq@pipsmatter.com and we'll provide you with a link to register. Thank you very much. Have a great Thursday, and we wish you all the very best.
Say ignore them till they fade away. Amazing they are great, but after all the game I gave away, safe to say I paved the way for you cats to get paid today. Still be wasting days away now had I never saved the day. Consider them my protege. How much I think they should pay? Instead of being gracious, they violate in a major way. I never been a hater, still I love them in a crazy way. Some say